Hey, all Jacob with Jacob Comics. All right, I got a fun video like always. First off, I do want to promote my contest. I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers, and when I do, we're going to give this book away. It's the Suicide Squad #1, which is the first full team appearance of Deadshot, Deathstroke, Harley Quinn, Duella Dent, and the Black Manta. All you have to do to enter to win this for free is like, comment, and subscribe, and you'll be entered to win. All right. Now, I just want to let everybody know tomorrow we're going to be dropping the comic book haul for the new comic book day. But I do have a DC issue to review, and so we're going to get right on into that. First off, we're going to call out who's writing and doing all this stuff. So we got Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing on the writing duties. And the art is actually done all. So I guess I'm assuming by what I saw in there that Max Dunbar is doing all of the pencil work and the inking himself. And then we have Sebastian Chang on colors and letters by Aditya Bidikar. So we kind of start off, and it's gives you a little bit of the mind of this new villain who they later name as the Holographic Man. And I do believe it's the first appearance of the Holographic Man, and his name is Donovan Lumos, and he apparently is the guy that has killed Bruce Wayne, because obviously if you've with this Batman Beyond Neo year, this setup, as I think everybody's well aware. And just so you know, we're if you haven't watched one of these review videos by me before, we're gonna kind of go heavy into spoilers. So if you don't want the spoilers and you just want to enter the contest, and come back and check this later when you've read the issue, then go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and come back later. But we're gonna get heavy into spoilers here, all right? So, like, this bad guy, this Holographic Man, has somehow accessed light as a weapon. So the light is, once he can form the light any way he wants, and it's an actual physical object, whatever. So it's almost kind of Green Lantern scale powers. Like he's pretty strong. So he's killed Bruce Wayne, and he's actually taken over Wayne Powers Enterprises, which is the company that Bruce Wayne owned. And he's like the new chairman of the board, if you will, right? And he's a pretty bad dude, all right. And so then it kind of segues into a little bit of a montage where we fast forward from the day of Bruce's death to about 60 days later, where during that time, Terry's just fighting bad guys, trying to stop as much crime as he possibly can, but he's not seeming to make any headway, right? And I do want to shout out the artist on this has a really good take on Terry McGinnis. Like, his Terry McGinnis is super dark and cool looking, and his backgrounds are very amazing. Um, there's a little bit to be desired as far as faces and facial expressions, but I mean, he's drawn better than I ever could. So more props. It's really amazing work, especially the fact that he's not only doing the pencils himself, but he's inking his own work. So that's quite impressive. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to keep that up for this whole run. Let's see, right? Um, so so we've kind of, just to get back to where we are in the story, we've kind of got Terry fighting all this crime, and like I said, like 60 days have passed, right? And from that 60 days passing, at the end of that 60 days, he's he's been made aware of this giant party that Donovan Lumos, the holographic man, is throwing at Wayne Powers. And so he attends this gathering, right? That of all kinds of people throwing a giant party. Uh, and during this gathering, just to kind of cut to the chase of what's super important is he gathers some intelligence and information that Donovan Lumos is actually using Wayne Powers enterprises to smuggle illicit pharmaceuticals and sell that as some street drugs. And so then he takes that information and he goes to an old Barbara Gordon, who is currently the new commissioner, right? So it's still Commissioner Gordon. So he goes to Commissioner Terry goes to Commissioner Gordon, Barbara Gordon, and when he shows up, I want to say this is another first appearance. I don't know the Batman Beyond universe super well, but the way that they introduced the character um, was as if Terry McGinnis had never met her before in his life. So that leads me to believe that it's also first appearance. And she's a detective who is kind of an up and comer detective in the police department. And as Terry McGinnis shows up, she's kind of having a back and forth with Barbara Gordon that um, we don't really understand the context quite yet of that conversation. It's one of those things you know maybe later as some more reveals come, you might have to go back and read that conversation to get a little more context. Right now, I kind of didn't understand what the argument was about, just the fact that they were not quite seeing eye to eye. And so she kind of storms off. Terry comes up and is like, "Oh, who's that?" And that's when they name drop her, and they're like, "Okay, this is Beam." Well, I don't know how to pronounce this. It's spelled Boonma, which I'm gonna say is Bonma or Boonma. So her name is Beam Boonma, and it's a possible first appearance there. Um, so then like he kind of tells Barbara Gordon like, "Hey, I've got this intel on the holographic man, and I'm we need to go take him out, right?" And she's like, "I don't know if we can just do that, you know, proper procedure and investigations and stuff." And he's like, "You know that." He doesn't say it in this exact words, but he's like, "You know, I don't." I'm not waiting for you guys to do that. This guy killed Bruce Wayne. Like I'm out for justice." And she kind of gets that, so she's like, I know I can't stop you from going out and doing what you're gonna do, but I do want to let you know that I'm retiring. So she drops the bombshell, like Barbara Gordon is saying that she wants to retire and move on, and it, he kind of refrains. You get some text dialogue of him thinking like he wants to reveal to her that crime is actually worse than perceived, because I believe this is what I took from it, that Wayne Powers is somehow changing the numbers and making it look like there's less crime than there actually is, right? So the police think they're doing a good job but in actuality they're not, and Batman's just out. Terry McGinnis is just out there trying to stop crime the whole time, right? Um, so then at that point he's like, "All right, I'm gonna go. Let's I'm gonna go rumble with this guy and try to catch him in the act of doing bad, right?" So he heads that way, but in, instead, when he gets there, to its like a big tanker ship that is arriving with more of these illicit pharmaceuticals, right? A sword. They don't name him, he he doesn't say I am the sword, but he says like I'm a sword or something like that. It's I called him the sword guy because I don't feel like he's ever actually named, and he has a really cool sword. He's a pretty cool looking character. I want to say he actually looks cooler than the holographic man. And he's on about 2 pages because he basically beats up Terry McGinnis for about 2 pages, and then uh, Terry starts to get the upper hand. Right, he kind of comes down with a boot to the face and catches him and gets him a little keeled and a little knocked down. Right, and and then Terry says to the guy like, you know, what are you gonna do? Uh, like I'm gonna arrest you, or you know, saying I'm gonna take you in for these crimes, right? And the guy's like, no, we're not having any of that. And he just explodes on actually a really cool 2 page giant pull. You know what I'm saying? Like 2 page layout, and he explodes in a giant blue ball of. I guess like he uses his sword to explode like that. I'm not sure. And then we see Terry is half unconscious, just in all this blue explosion, and he's thinking like, Bruce Wayne, I'm not gonna stop trying to defend the city, and I'm not gonna abandon this dream, this goal of fighting crime and keeping Gotham safe. And then it ends and says, you know, continued on in the next issue, right? So what did I think about it? Um, I think I'm gonna give it an issue 2. Um, I would have liked a little bit more. There is a backup story, which, forgive me, I'm not the biggest DC fan, so I don't fully know what's going on, but it seemed as though it starts with Batman, right? And he's in a room full of clocks, which Watchmen, like I don't really know. DC fans, comment below. Enter yourself to win the Suicide Squad #1 first full of team appearance, um, and let me know because I'm not sure. Like it's the clock. He's got clocks There's clocks everywhere, right? And then it kind of pans, and Mime and Marionette walk in and just point Batman towards like a particular clock in the room, right? Which happens to be a watch that is kind of like wrapped around the bottom of a snow globe. And again, DC fans, like, I feel like this was supposed to be some giant reveal, and I just had no idea what was going on. And they say it's Jenny Slater's watch. Like it was supposed to be the most biggest thing, and Batman picks it up, and he's like, "I know I shouldn't be doing this," and I believe he puts it on, and the world goes to white. I'm not quite sure, and it says Flashpoint Zero coming. Um, I don't know if they suckered me in on checking that out. I am not sure, but it was interesting. Like the artwork on that it was written and drawn by a different team. I apologize, I don't know off the top of my head, but the artwork in that was pretty good too, and the story seemed well paced, I guess. But I was mostly checking this out for Batman Beyond because, as you guys know, giant Spider-Man 2099 fan, and I like kind of like science fiction superhero stuff, especially if it's in a more mainline like DC or Marvel universe. So just remember, one more time, like, comment, subscribe for your chance to win the Suicide Squad #1. And if you guys are looking for any comics or any back issues or anything, hey man, help me out. hit the link below and buy some comics off me. All right, guys, I'll check you in a video tomorrow. We do have I actually did I did go out of town and buy another small collection. So we're gonna have another collection haul coming up for you this week, along with tomorrow's new comic book day haul and comic book day finds and stuff. All right, guys, check you in the next video.